Us NFL fans have gotten to see many classic rivalries, battles, and duels between great coaches, teams, and players. We got to see Peyton Manning and Tom Brady face off 17 times, including 5 playoff matchups and 4 AFC Championship games. We got to see John Elway against Joe Montana and Brett Favre in Super Bowls. We got to see the New York Giants' dream team pass rush shut down the New England Patriots' record-setting 2007 offense in Super Bowl 42. If we could get 10 dream NFL matchups, what would they be? I'm Justin Fraction, and here are the 10 NFL dream matchups we never saw but wish could happen. Number 10, Peyton Manning versus John Elway. Both men won a pair of Super Bowls. Both guys fought the narrative that they couldn't win the big one. Both of them retired as a Super Bowl champion with the Denver Broncos. Both of them are regarded as two of the greatest quarterbacks to ever live. Manning's 5 MVPs and countless records, including most wins, touchdowns, and passing yards, make him a legend. Elway was one of the most dominant quarterbacks of his era, leading Denver to consecutive Super Bowls to close out his career. But considering how it was Elway who recruited Manning to join Denver in 2012, this matchup would be incredible. The two worked side by side to make Denver great again, and it led to a Super Bowl 50 championship. Number 9, Legion of Boom versus Monsters of the Midway. The 1985 Chicago Bears defense is recognized as by far the greatest in American football history. That defense was carried by Mike Singletary and Richard Dent. They went 15-1 that season and won the Super Bowl, allowing the least amount of yards and points. And our dream opponent for them? The Legion of Boom defense that has carried the Seattle Seahawks since 2012. In a pass-happy offensive era, Seattle has ranked first in points allowed in each of the last 4 seasons. Seeing these two defenses play in the same game in order to settle the debate of the best defense ever is only something we can dream of. Number 8, Reggie White versus Adrian Peterson. White is known as one of the greatest defensive linemen to ever live. A Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers, White was a 13-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL sacks leader, 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and he racked up 198 sacks and 33 fumbles in his career. Crushing everything in his way, we would have liked to see how he would have matched up against Adrian Peterson, the most dominant running back of the past decade. AP has hit the 1,000-yard rushing mark 7 times and has hit double-digit touchdowns in all but one season. Seeing this elusive running back against one of the best run-stoppers ever would be a real treat. Number 7, Peyton Manning versus Joe Montana. We talked earlier about how great Manning is. You know he's the leader in the most meaningful quarterback stats, and he has the 2 Super Bowls and 5 MVP awards. Now, how about Joe Cool? Montana doesn't quite have the stats, but most people would probably tell you he's the best quarterback to ever live. He won 4 Super Bowls and was a key part of the San Francisco 49ers dynasty. To see 2 men widely regarded as the best ever? Yes, please. Number 6, Johnny Unitas versus Aaron Rodgers. Unitas was the NFL's first true superstar quarterback. The Super Bowl champion made 10 Pro Bowls, led the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns 4 times each, was named to the 1960s All-Decades team, and tossed 290 touchdowns and 40,239 yards in his career. If you talk about the best quarterback ever, you need to talk about the guy who started it with his dominant play in an era where teams played more defensively and ran the ball excessively. But we love to see him against the modern Unitas, Aaron Rodgers. A-Rod is the best quarterback of the 2010s, winning 1 Super Bowl and a pair of MVPs. To see a blast from the past in Unitas and the new guy on the block in Aaron Rodgers would be a fine way of getting a better idea of who the true GOAT is. Number 5, Rob Gronkowski versus Ronnie Lott. Gronk will go down as the greatest tight end of all time when he retires, and there's no debating it. The 4-time Pro Bowler already has 380 career receptions for 5,555 yards and 65 touchdowns in just 80 career games. There hasn't been any defense that's consistently been able to shut down Rob Gronkowski. Though we'll give New York Jets cornerback Darrelle Revis some credit for doing it twice during the 2015 season. But who might be the one player in his prime who could have shut down Gronk? Try Pro Football Hall of Famer Ronnie Lott, the best safety to ever live. Lott led the NFL in interceptions twice, made it to 10 Pro Bowls, was part of the 80s and 90s All-Decade team, and most importantly won 4 Super Bowls as a backbone of the 49ers dynasty in the 80s. Gronk versus Lott? Who you got? Number 4, Tom Brady versus Joe Montana. It seems like these are the 2 guys most people consider to be the best quarterbacks of all time. That's up for debate. But what's not debatable is how bad we'd love to see these 2. Montana and the 49ers were Brady's boyhood idols. He grew up cheering for San Francisco. Both guys were quarterbacks of dynasty teams, and each have made their legacies on the grandest stage by winning 4 Super Bowls apiece. Any chance Montana could come out of retirement and settle this? Number 3, 2015 Broncos pass rush versus the Hogs. The 2015 Denver Broncos had one of the most dominant defenses ever. They surrendered the least yards and produced an incredible 52 sacks. They shut down Tom Brady and Cam Newton in the playoffs, getting in each other's faces en route to a Super Bowl 50 championship. But how would Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, and company look against the best O-line ever? The Hogs was the nickname of the Washington Redskins offensive line in the 80s. They won 3 Super Bowls together as Jeff Bostic, Mark May, Russ Grimm, George Stark, Fred Dean, and Joe Jacoby anchored the most dangerous offensive line ever. The unstoppable force versus the immovable object. You can only guess who would win. Number 2, Anthony Munoz versus J.J. Watt. Munoz didn't win a Super Bowl, but the offensive tackle was one of the most dominant offensive linemen of all time. 11 Pro Bowls, 3-time Offensive Lineman of the Year, and part of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It was nearly impossible to bulldoze your way through the sky. If there's one person who could do it maybe consistently, it'd be J.J. Watt, the NFL's top defensive player right now. Watt has 74.5 sacks in just 80 career games. Once again, an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. And number 1, Deion Sanders versus Calvin Johnson. Prime time is the best cornerback to ever live. We saw him face off against Randy Moss and Jerry Rice. Who'd be the next man to give him a show? Calvin Johnson. They didn't call him Megatron for nothing. The 6'5", 240-pounder could use his size to beat Sanders regularly. Or could he? Megatron caught 731 passes for 11,619 yards and 83 touchdowns. Given his ridiculously athletic build, could he beat the ultimate shutdown corner? Your only hope is to play the Madden franchise and decide if it's accurate. Which dream NFL matchup do you want to see most? Join us in the comments below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton and we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to Total Pro Sports though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.